Use coloring crayons to color the picture. Use your finger to follow the track or line or show the correct picture. Use a coloring crayon to draw a line or write a number or sound. Look at the picture and say the number or sound out loud. Use a scissors to cut on the dotted line. Look at the picture. Use these symbols for the lesson of the day, which will be allocated at the top right side of each page. For example, Lesson 1, Prepositions and Directions.
Hello and welcome to My Zone Online School. My name is Teacher Mutsa and thank you so much for joining me today. Our theme for this week is town. Yesterday we talked about the number 8 and counting. But before we get into this lesson, we need to sanitize. Remember, when you're sanitizing, you need to go round and round and on your wrists and make sure that they are dry before you touch anything else. It's also very important, my children, to practice good social distancing by checking on both sides and in front of you that no one is around you. Well done. Our topic or lesson for today is the letter U and the differences. Our first exercise today can be found on page 7. Here we have a new letter being introduced to us. It is the letter U. Everybody, let's say U. Now remember, a letter has two names. It has its actual name and then it has its phonetic name, the sound it makes. And U makes the sound ah. Let's say ah. Again, ah. One more time, ah. Very good. Now we are going to learn how to write the letter U and as well as use it when we are saying different things. As you can see, the letter U starts by going down, then we make a curve coming up, and without lifting our pencil or finger, we go back down. Remember, this is the small letter U, and small letter U needs its leg to stand. Otherwise, it will just fall over. But big letter U is big enough to stand alone. So, let us try and trace together. I want you to put your finger there. Well done, and let's go round. Down, round, and back up. And without lifting your pencil or your finger, let's go back down to make the feet. Well done, grade pre-primary and grade 1s. What we want to do now is something very exciting. Let's take a look at the board. I have a few things that start with the letter U and have U in them. But remember, we said that U has a sound that it makes, and it makes the sound ah. And here in my hands, what do I have? That's right, I have an umbrella. Let's see if this umbrella works. Okay. Oh, lovely. It works just fine. And what is the sound we make for the umbrella when we are starting? We say, ah. Everybody, let's say, ah. Very good. So when we are saying the word umbrella, we can hear the letter U in there. And we can even make a little song about it too. Umbrella, 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 umbrella. I don't want you to forget that. So remember, you need to continue practicing that song. But apart from the umbrella, we also have other words that have the letter U in them. For example, the word up. You can see that the letter U is at the beginning and it goes up. Everybody, let's jump up. Well done. Jump up. Very good. But apart from the word up, in a town, you will always see something that goes like a bus. Here we have a nice yellow bus and it has our letter U in it. And we say it as B. Bus. Have you ever been on a bus before? I have. And sometimes I take a bus for a very long journey. Now remember, the big letter U starts from the top, going down and round back up. And we are done. Remember, big letter U can stand by itself, but little letter U needs a foot. So we start going up. I want you to take your finger. Let's go together. Up, down, there, going round, back up without lifting your pencil. We go back down. Well done. Now let's take a look at the exercise we need to do today. I would like you to please write the letter U in the blocks provided. The letter U you're going to write is the small letter U, the one that has the foot. And remember to take your time and start at the correct place. And you can still sing our song as you are doing it. Umbrella. Enjoy yourselves, my dears. I really hope you enjoyed that last exercise, my children, and that you don't forget our song. Let's take a look at another exercise on page 8. Here we have another letter, and this letter is called X, just like X marks the spot. X is very easy to remember and to write as well. As you can see, X is also like a crisscross. So I want you to start where the dot is with your finger or your pencil, and you're just going to go criss across. You lift up your pencil, you go to the other side on top, and you cross. So X, big letter X and small letter X look the same, but the size is different. Let's take a look at the board. As you can see, I have big letter X here and small letter X. The same way we write big letter X is the same way we write small letter X. So we start at the top and we go criss. Then we remove our pencil and we go cross. I want you to remember that they meet in the middle of the letter. So let's start again. Criss. And then we lift up our pencil and we go cross. That is how we write big letter X. The same as for small letter X. But I want you to use a small voice instead of a big voice. Criss. Very good. And cross. Wonderful. Well done. Now there are words that have the letter X in them. And the sound the letter X makes is X. Let's say it together. X. One more time. Very good. Now, an example of a word that has the letter X in it, making it sound, is the word box. So it says B-O-X. I have a box here with me. As you can see, it is very beautiful and lovely. What do you think is in this box? Do you want me to open the box? Okay, let me open the box and check. Maybe it's money. Maybe it's secret treasure. Let's find out what's in the box. In the box, we have a mug to drink tea in. Yummy tea. So, let's take a look at our exercise. What I would like you to do for this exercise is to write the letter X in the boxes that you can see there. As you can see, you start from the top and you crisscross. Remember, they need to meet in the middle. Otherwise, it's no longer an X, but just a funny letter. I hope you remember to do this well. Take your time and make sure that the lines are straight. Enjoy yourselves. Let's now take a look at our next exercise on page 9. On page 9, we can see that we have a lot of colorful things that need coloring later on. But the colorful things we're talking about is the opposite things. We have on one side something and on the other side something that is opposite. Now, opposite means that it is completely different from something else. I want you to take a look at me and we are going to show you what opposite looks like. My bottle here is big, but if I want to find something opposite from my bottle, then my sanitizer is small. Can you see the difference? Big and small. So the opposite of big is small. Very good. I hope you remember that. Now, knowing what opposite means, let's take a look at our exercise. The first thing that we can see is a worm in an apple. And you have to draw or connect the opposite, which means using your pencil or a color, you need to connect the dot that is the opposite of the other one. Here we can see in the apple that the worm is inside. So the opposite of inside must be, let's take a look at the other side. Let's see. It can't be long for the pencil. It can't be on top for the ball. Yes, my children, it is outside because you can see the worm is outside of the apple. I'd like you to please draw a line from the first apple where the worm is inside to the second apple where the worm is outside. Let's take a look at the next picture. We have a beautiful flag that is low. Now, what is the opposite of low? It can't be long for the pencil. It cannot be on top for the ball. And we cannot use outside again. So our answer must be high. I'd like you to please draw a line from the low flag to the high flag. The other two, I'm sure you can do by yourselves. And when you are done, my children, feel free to color everything there. Remember to use the correct colors. I have never seen a purple apple, so please use the correct colors for each of these pictures. Let's now go to page 10. On page 10, we have something very interesting. This one requires you to use your eyes or your sense of sight. You are going to first take a look at the top picture. You can see that we have a bunny we have a mountain, we have a beautiful sun, and we have a couple of things that are sprinkled round the picture. It looks like this must be the Easter bunny, since I can see a few eggs. But on the second picture, there are some things that are missing from the other picture. So your job, my children, is to take a look at both pictures very carefully. And I want you to circle the things that are missing from the bottom picture. You can also afterwards color the picture as well. To make sure you don't make a mistake, you can use different colors to check which one is missing. I think I will help you with one of them. I'd like you to look at the bottom picture. The bottom picture, you can see that there are many eggs there. But if you check the eggs on the top picture, some of them are missing. So there you go. I've helped you with one, and the rest you can do by yourselves. Remember to check every time. And we are looking for 8 different things in the picture. Enjoy yourselves. For our last exercise for this lesson, I'd like you to please turn to page 11. On page 11, we can see something that we always see around town. Some of you call it a robot, but the correct word is traffic lights. You can see that there is a traffic light there for red, a traffic light for orange, and a traffic light for green. So I'd like you please to color the first traffic light red. Then you will color the second one orange, and then I want you to color the third one, or the last one, or the one at the bottom green. I also want you to ask the adults, especially those who drive, that you know what these colors mean. You'll be very surprised. Next time that you're in town, my children, I want you to point at a traffic light and they can tell you what it means. And this will be the last exercise we have today. I enjoyed this lesson. I hope you did too. But before we go, we need to sanitize. So please make sure that your hands are fully sanitized, not just inside, but outside as well. And remember those fingertips as well. Remember to try them, as well as to check your social distancing to make sure that you're not touching anyone or anything around you. Wonderful. But I wonder, I haven't seen my special friend today. Maybe she's in town. Zoe, where are you? Oh, there she is. Ooh, she looks like she's hot. Zoe, would you like an umbrella? Wonderful. And here we go. There we go. Now you are nicely in the shade. So, from Zoe and I, we would like to say bye.
Hello and welcome to today's episode of 700 Club Nigeria. Today on 700 Club Nigeria, a woman encounters inexplicable pain after the delivery of her baby. An interesting chat with the Israeli ambassador to Nigeria. Plus, we learn about the power within our spoken words.
My cushion in the land of the living, help me sing. For me, and my house we will.
Scientists are racing to find a COVID-19 vaccine. Creating a vaccine usually takes years, sometimes even decades. More than 150 vaccine candidates are being developed worldwide. Some of the trials furthest ahead have produced encouraging results. Several possible vaccines appear to have produced an immune response with antibodies, T cells, and no serious side effects. Antibodies are protective proteins that fight infections in the body. Some T cells kill infected cells. Others help B cells to make the right antibodies to fight a virus. It's uncertain how long immunity to COVID-19 would last. 6 other human coronaviruses have been known about for years. Natural immunity for the most common 4 is quite short-lived and generally lasts a few years. A COVID-19 vaccine could require booster jabs after years or even months. Scientists are using a variety of methods to make a vaccine. Several human trials are creating vaccines using the genetic code of the virus. Other human trials, and some with animals, are trying more traditional methods, such as using a weakened or inactive virus. This variety might lead to more than one type of vaccine. Having several could actually be very useful, as each one may be more effective among different people. Despite the promising progress, it's not guaranteed an effective and reliable vaccine will be found. If there isn't one, the virus might eventually infect everyone. Some scientists are hoping to have a vaccine ready for limited use before the end of this year, but most are predicting mid-2021. Once regulators have approved a vaccine, billions of doses will have to be made. Then there's the tricky task of distributing and administering it on a global scale. Collaboration will be needed so the poorest don't miss out. Health workers could be at the front of the queue to get it. But who should be next in line?
Akiri, 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 akiri.
We love to wash our hands, and this is how we do it. Wash, wash with clean water. Scrub, scrub, scrub with soap. Rinse, rinse with clean water, and then the germs will go. We love to wash our hands, and this is how we do it. Wash, wash with clean water. Scrub, scrub, scrub with soap. Rinse, rinse with clean water, and then the germs will go. Yay!
Well done, soap and water. You got rid of all the germs on Achilles' hands.
Hello and welcome to Sport Africa. The BBC's new weekly show will explore the big sporting issues and questions, like why Africans aren't winning medals in the pool.
I just think it's their mindset.
Meeting established and rising stars.
I could be the Nigerian first Grand Slam winner.
And at the heart of it will be you, the fans, with your passion, your opinions, your stories, and even tests of your sporting knowledge. Go beyond the game with BBC Sport Africa.
In a corner of southern Africa lies a vast and sparse land, where endless horizons, dramatic scenery, and untouched wilderness abound. (1,500 kilometers of harsh desert coastline, a mosaic of biodiversity, sub-Saharan savanna, acacia bushland, encased by 2 deserts. Home to wildlife and wilderness abundant, yet ever at risk. This is Namibia, home to some of the most noteworthy conservation success stories across the globe. Initiatives forged, manned, and driven by passionate individuals and groups.
People are busy there walking for more than 45 kilometers a day.
Special species and wild locations under constant threat from an increasingly destructive developing world.
One of the world's true survivors.
This is the story of the Namibian wilderness, the stories of the enigmatic wildlife and natural wonders of her realm.
They are not a threat to anyone, if you understand them.
This is the story of those determined to preserve it, and thereby themselves.
I don't think I want to tell my children one day that we had rhinos in Namibia. I want to show them live rhinos.
This is the story of the last defenders.
We have been tracking them for about 7 days, and on the 7th day, we come across the butchers, and there was a shooting. We are not armed. We having a camera and GPS. We are just hiding behind the bushes. If I don't protect this species, who's going to do that? So it's that why I sacrificed my life to go on conserve the rhinos.
Armed out in the field with basically a notebook against poachers that are armed with highly dangerous weapons and more. How is this an equal fight?
I started right on the ground as a tracker, and I worked all the way up to be the CEO now, and I know how hard it is. It's commitment and dedication and the patience that you have for the animal. It's really hard. It's like you had something in your house that you are protecting for so long, and when you go away from home, somebody comes and kills you.
In a time of uncertainty, false news, and fear, learn on. While the world scrambles to make new sense, while the experts turn around in circles, trying to find their way back to tomorrow. Learn on. When classrooms become empty cathedrals and the trees start to bear answers, learn on. Learn on. Until every parent is a teacher, and every teacher is a mentor. Learn on. Until you cross the boundaries of your mind, until you grow eyes and sprout wings. My friend, learn on. On sidewalks, on the floor, at the neighbors, in the market, in hallways, in churches, under trees, at kitchen tables, in riverbeds. Learning doesn't only happen between four walls. Learning happens in the small space of your enormous, beautiful mind.